Okay, here's everything you're going to need to get started. We need a 14mm socket, and it doesn't have to be that big. I got a 3/8 inch drive. Then I have an 18mm socket. This has to be at least a 1/2 inch drive. You need something really big. This is a big heavy duty thing. I got a big breaker bar. I also got a little pry bar, a big huge pry bar, tire irons, screwdriver, some pliers, a C-clamp, some paper towels, some cleaner. Of course, you need a rotor and some pads. It really helps to have a little helper with you on the job too. So let's get started. Okay, here we have the Prime Choice rotors. See in here, these are the cheapest ones I could find on Amazon. And then I've got the Wagner ThermoQuiet brake pads. And these are reasonably priced brake pads, but they're ceramic. And you can see how they come with new stainless steel brake hardware. And like I say, they are ceramic, really well done. And I put these on the back, and I was very happy with them. And I'm replacing the AC Delcos that I bought that I'm not happy with. They seem to squeak a lot. So we'll go through the whole procedure. Okay, well, the car's on the ground. You want to crack the nuts. By crack the nuts, I mean give them a quarter turn each. Well, it's on the ground because it's a lot easier to do it while it's on the ground than while it's in the air. And now we jack the car up. Okay, make sure that the jack is underneath a nice frame member. I got the car parked, and I got the parking brakes on, and you get the tire up off the ground, and usually I give it like a few more inches above that so you get a little more room to work. In fact, actually, I had to get it quite a bit. I mean, get like at least another 8 inches or so I have some room to work when I try to take off those big heavy-duty bolts. Okay, first I'm going to use the 14mm ratchet and take off the 2 bolts that hold the caliper into the caliper frame. So you can see there's a bolt up here, and there's a bolt down there. And they're kind of on these little rubber bellow slides. It's called a floating caliper, so there's only pistons on one side. When you push on one side, then the caliper slides back and forth to put an equal and opposite force on the opposite side. And they have to be free, or else you'll have uneven wear. Yeah, I got those 2 bolts off, but it's sometimes not too easy just to pull the calipers off because everything's all tight and everything. So you might need to get a little maneuvering room in here and push back the pistons. So kind of, you can see I got the screwdriver in between the pads. And there you can see the calipers moving, the pads are moving. So you can do this side, you can see I got lots of nice room. And then I'll do the same for the bottom. And then I'll have, then these things will just come right off. Okay, so now let's see here. Now it should come off, okay, one-handed. And it's really important that we don't screw up the brake line here. So I can usually balance it right up on the top here. And be careful not to knock that thing off because you don't want to damage your brake line. At this point, the pads just come right out. And of course, it never comes out, there it goes. It's kind of tough with one hand, but you can kind of see the old rotors. It's not in the best shape, and I'm starting to get pedal pulsation and wobbling. So that's the reason I'm replacing them. Now here's where the real fun begins. This is the hardest part of the job. I got my 18mm socket. Remember, I said like a 1/2 inch drive, something really heavy duty, and I got a big heavy duty 1/2 inch breaker bar in there because this is going to be tough, really tough. So we got this bolt down here, and since I'm going down this time, it's going to be even worse on the prying. Like on the other side, it was going up, and I could take a big huge pry bar. I have this big huge tire changing tool, and picked up a Harbor Freight for $6, and man, it was a good investment. And I was able to pry against the control arm, and boom, the thing came right out. So now I'm going to have to really do some He-Man muscling, and because it's pushing down this time, which is a little easier than pulling up as it was on the other side. But anyway, time to get at it. Once again, the Harbor Freight toolbar or pry bar helped out. I found just doing this, and then I pushed down, and man, it just came right down. So for some reason, I don't know why, I was pressing down like crazy on the handle, and that should have been enough. But you put up a pry bar on there, and it really makes a difference. Okay, we see our new clip and our old clip. Okay, everything looks good. Oops, oh boy. Off goes the old clip. Get nice and centered. Oh, it snaps right in there. Real easy. Now we've got our new Prime Choice brake rotors. We inspect them. They look pretty nice. I mean, it looks really nice and clean. Sometimes you get lots of grease and gunk on these things you get them, but this is all wrapped in, double wrapped in plastic and cardboard and everything. Looks pretty good, but just for fun, let's just take a little bit of carburetor cleaner. Just make sure that there's no gunk and grease on the threads. You can see there's a little bit of black here, but it's not too unreasonable. Then we do the same thing on the other side. Well, here's the old rotor. And you can kind of see there's a metal spring clip here and a metal spring clip here. And these are put on in the factory on the assembly line so the things wouldn't fall off when they're going through the line. First thing we have to do is take these stupid little spring clips off, and they just don't seem to unscrew. But you pretty much are going to have to destroy the spring clips to get them off here, and I'll show you how. Well, I found the best thing to do is to get them a little bit loose, to where you can pry in there and get them away till you get a little bit of room, and then you can go at them with a pair of pliers. And on the other side, I managed to once I get about a good 1/4 inch out, hit it with a pair of pliers, and then I was able to just grab a pair of pliers and clamp it and just take it right out. And it's not going to work when I'm on camera. It's just not going to work, but let me show you what it would have looked like. Just imagine that this is successful. We just grabbed this thing, we just pulled it off with a pair of pliers. This one didn't come off so easily, so now I'm just unscrewing it, and unscrewing it, and unscrewing it, and it'll be off in just a second. Okay, the spring clips are off, and the old rotor, it just like falls off. It's just no big deal. The new rotor just slides on there, and I put 2 lug nuts on here just to temporarily hold in here, so it's nice and solid. It's not flopping around. Hey, I'm putting the caliper frame back on here, and when you tighten this thing, man, as tight as you possibly can. I mean, it's just gotta be so tight. It's just so incredibly tight. Okay, you can see I gently slid in the new pads into the guides, and they go in real easy. You don't force them, and there's some spring pressure on the top to keep them from rattling. A little spring pressure here, a little spring pressure there. And now I've got my C-clamp. This is a 5-inch C-clamp, although you could get by with maybe something smaller, like maybe a 3.5 or something like that. And I gently push in the pistons to where they're at the bottom. You don't force them, you just gently let them go down the bottom, and you do the same to the other piston, and then we'll be ready to put it on. Okay, I gently slid the caliper into the caliper frame, making sure that these slide pieces were retracted and they didn't interfere. I got the bolts in there, finger tight, and now I just get them there, and I get them medium, pretty tight. You don't go crazy on them. This is, like I say, a small 3/8 inch drive, but I got it pretty darn snug, but you don't break anything. Now here's a real important part of the job. We test everything out. First, release the parking brake, start the car up, and we gently pump the brake, gently pump the pedal until it comes hard. You do a little bit. Okay, now I got a nice hard firm pedal. Put it in reverse. Well, the car seems to stop. Put it in drive. Wow, it really stops nice. Okay, well, I'm happy.